Let me tell you something the world doesn't want you to hear. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is stay quiet. You see, we live in a generation where everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants validation. People talk more about what they are going to do than what they're actually doing. They shout their plans. They broadcast their dreams. They make noise before they've even built the foundation. But here's the truth. Noise is cheap. Work is priceless. When you work in silence, something incredible happens. You free yourself from distraction. You free yourself from opinions. You free yourself from the need to impress. Because at the end of the day, success doesn't respond to words. Success doesn't respond to likes. Success doesn't respond to attention. Success responds to discipline. Success responds to sacrifice. Success responds to consistency. So let me ask you, when was the last time you worked quietly, with no one watching, and gave it everything you had? The truth is, we admire results, not noise. When you see someone walking across the stage with the degree, you don't see the silent nights they studied while everyone else slept. When you see the athlete lifting the trophy, you don't see the early mornings, the sweat, the countless repetitions in empty gyms. When you see the entrepreneur open their business, you don't see the silent sacrifices, the nights of doubt, the private tears. You only see the results. And results don't need to shout. They speak for themselves. So today I want you to understand this. You don't need to announce your every move. You don't need to convince the world of your greatness. You don't need their applause right now. What you need is to work in silence. Let's talk about a story you might know. Michael Jordan. Today his name is synonymous with greatness. But before he was the legend we admire, he was just a young boy who loved basketball. And in high school he didn't make the varsity team. He was cut, rejected, humiliated. Most people would have quit. Most people would have let the noise of doubt drown them. But Michael didn't. He went home, and in silence he practiced, hour after hour, day after day. While others laughed, while others doubted, while others overlooked him, he worked. No cameras, no applause, just sweat, discipline, and silence. Years later, that same boy, once rejected, became the greatest basketball player the world had ever seen. And when the championships came, when the trophies filled his shelves, when the world finally called him the greatest, he didn't need to remind them of his pain. His results spoke for him. And that's the lesson. The hours nobody sees create the moments everyone remembers. Your quiet season isn't punishment, it's preparation. The rejection you face today is shaping the strength you'll need tomorrow. The silence you endure is training your soul for greatness. Michael Jordan didn't need to argue with his critics. He didn't need to shout at his doubters. He didn't need to beg for validation. He let his work do the talking, and his work changed history. Not every story of silent success makes the headlines. Sometimes the most powerful examples are found in ordinary people living with extraordinary discipline. Let's take a look at this lady called Kate. She wasn't a celebrity. She wasn't rich. She didn't have powerful connections. She worked in a bakery. Every single morning, before the sun came up, she would wake, tie her apron, and step into that small kitchen. She kneaded dough, she decorated cakes, she served customers who barely remembered her name. But she had a dream bigger than the four walls of that bakery. While others spent their evenings scrolling their phones, she went home and studied recipes. She experimented in her tiny kitchen. She tested new flavors, sometimes failing, sometimes creating magic. And here's the key. She didn't tell the world about it. She didn't make any noise about what she was going to do. She stayed silent. She saved her money quietly. She sacrificed quietly. She built her vision quietly. Fast forward a few years. That same young woman now owns her own pastry shop. People line up around the block just to taste her creations. She went from an employee no one noticed to a business owner the whole town talks about. Not because she bragged, not because she shouted, but because she worked in silence. And here's why her story matters to you. She didn't need fame to fuel her. She didn't need an audience to validate her. She didn't need approval to move forward. She needed one thing, the courage to keep going when nobody was clapping. That's it. How many times have you stopped chasing something because nobody noticed your effort? How many times have you slowed down because the applause you wanted never came? Let me tell you, the bakery owner's success didn't come from applause. It came from discipline. It came from sacrifice. It came from the silent hours nobody else saw. And the same will be true for you. The silence you endure today is shaping the person you need to become tomorrow. Every quiet hour of study, every late night of effort, every sacrifice nobody acknowledges, it's not wasted. It's an investment. One day, when the results come, and they will come, people will call it sudden success. But you'll know the truth. It wasn't sudden at all. It was built in silence, brick by brick, while nobody was watching. Think about this for a moment. If the seeds of farmer plants could scream, they might shout, "Look at me! Look at me! I'm in the soil! I'm growing!" But they don't. They stay hidden. They stay buried. They stay quiet. And in time, without fanfare, they break through the soil, rise toward the sun, and feed entire nations. Your journey is no different. Every seed of discipline you plant in silence today is preparing a harvest you can't yet see. But if you pull it out of the ground too soon, if you shout about it too loudly before it matures, you risk destroying what was meant to sustain you. The Bible says in Matthew 6:6, "When you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." Do you see the truth in that? Even God tells us, it's not the show, it's not the noise, it's the unseen effort that matters. It's what you do when nobody is watching that creates the reward everybody will eventually see. But here's the struggle. We live in a world obsessed with instant validation. Post a picture, get likes. Share an update, wait for comments. We've trained ourselves to crave recognition before the work is even finished. But the reality is, success doesn't respond to likes. Success doesn't answer to claps. Success doesn't bow to attention. Success only responds to work. Silent, consistent, hidden work. So let me ask you, can you handle working when no one notices? Can you keep showing up when nobody claps for you? Can you keep pushing when people don't believe in you yet? That's the real test. Because if you need applause to keep going, you'll quit when it matters most. But if you can work in silence, you'll succeed in ways the noisy ones never will. And when your results finally show, they won't need explanation. They won't need defending. They'll speak louder than your words ever could. Don't waste your energy trying to convince people now. Don't burn yourself out trying to prove yourself to the world. You don't owe anyone a performance. You owe yourself persistence. You owe yourself discipline. You owe yourself consistency. Because here's the truth. One day, the silence you endured will become the sound of applause. One day, the work nobody noticed will become the success everybody talks about. One day, the sacrifices you made alone will shine like a crown in public. But that day only comes if you keep going now, quietly, faithfully, relentlessly. Listen closely. One day, your silence will break. One day, your results will roar so loudly that even those who doubted you will have no choice but to listen. But until that day comes, you must remain unshaken. You must remain committed. You must remain faithful to the grind no one sees. The world doesn't remember the talkers. The world remembers the doers. History doesn't celebrate noise. History celebrates results. When you work in silence, your strength grows in the shadows. Your skill sharpens behind closed doors. Your character is forged in the quiet hours. And when the spotlight finally finds you, you won't just shine. You'll blind the world with the brilliance you've been building all along. So let this be your reminder. You don't need the world to believe in you today. You don't need their applause. You don't need their permission. What you need is the courage to take one more step. What you need is the discipline to wake up and try again. What you need is the strength to keep going in silence, knowing that one day the silence will end, and your results will speak louder than you ever could. The doubters will see, the haters will hear, the world will witness, and you will know that the price you paid in silence was worth every sleepless night, every lonely moment, every sacrifice no one else understood. Because in the end, the noise fades, the opinions fade, but results remain. And results speak louder than words. Now the choice is yours. Will you keep waiting for validation, or will you rise, work in silence, and let your success become your voice? If this message spoke to you today, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more messages like this, raw, real, and powerful reminders to keep you moving forward, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Because together, we're building a community of people who refuse to let excuses define their lives. Hit that subscribe button, and let's walk this journey of discipline, purpose, and unstoppable success together. Work in silence. Let success speak.